from Loops and Love Crochet here, and today I'm working on this new bag pattern here. You can find this bag pattern on the blog loopsandlovecrochet.com, and the body of the bag is going to be worked up using the Mosaic Crochet technique. So I have my graph here ready to go, and I've completed the bottom of the bag and I'm ready to start the Mosaic Crochet section here. So I thought I would show you how the graph works and how to apply it to this design, and to give you some Mosaic Crochet pointers if you haven't tried this technique yet, and just to get you going on this bag pattern here. So I hope you enjoy this crochet pattern. You can find the free pattern on my blog loopsandlovecrochet.com, as well as the instructions for the bottom of the bag, the graph for the Mosaic Crochet section, and all of the details there. And for working the base of the bag, I'm not showing that in this video tutorial. I'm just going to show you the Mosaic Crochet section in this tutorial today. However, I do have another video on my YouTube channel for working up bag bases in this style here, so you can check that out. And for this crochet project, I'm using the We Crochet or Knit Picks Cotton yarn. It's a DK weight yarn. It's a cotton and linen blend here. And because it's a DK weight and I wanted my bag to be nice and sturdy, I'm using the yarn doubled here. So I'm using 2 strands at the same time. So I'm working from 2 balls of yarn together in order to make the stitches a bit thicker. The bag works up a little bit faster, as well as it's nice and sturdy too. Okay, so looking at my graph here, I've created this graph here for this Mosaic Crochet project here. And in this graph, each gray box is representing this blue color here, and each white box is representing the white color that I'm using. So I'm just going to be switching back and forth between these 2 colors as I work my rows up the body of the bag from the bottom to the top of the graph. And Mosaic Crochet technique graphs, in those graphs, you're working an A and a B of each row. So each row in the graph represents 2 rows in your crocheted work. So I have 2 rows of blue for row 1. We got 1 A and 1 B. And then for row 2, I have 2 rows of white, just single crochet stitches for 2A and 2B. And now we're going to be working 3A and 3B, which will kind of be the start of the Mosaic Crochet technique here, because we have 2 different colored boxes in the same row. So the first stitch of each row is going to tell you which color you're using for those 2 rows that you're going to be working. And every time you come across a stitch of a different color in that row, you're going to be skipping it and chaining instead. So for row 3 here, my color is going to be this, well, the gray, which is my blue. And each gray box is going to be representing a single crochet stitch in blue. And then every time I get to one of the white ones, that's going to be skipped and then work chain stitches instead. So because I'm skipping 1 box here, or 1 stitch on my graph, on my pattern here, I'm going to be chaining 2 to skip that 1 stitch. So we always chain 1 extra stitch than what we're skipping, just to keep our project nice and even. We don't want those chain stitches to start pulling our project in on the sides. So we're just going to chain and then skip that stitch, adding that extra chain in to keep our project nice and even on the sides. And then we'll do 9 single crochet in blue, and then we'll chain 2 to skip that stitch, and then 5 single crochet in blue, chain 2 to skip that stitch, and kind of the whole way across we'll be repeating that. And then when we get to the end, we're going to go back to the start again. This graph is 32 stitches wide, but the project here is 96 stitches around the bag. So each row is going, or each round is going to have 96 stitches. So you'll just be repeating the same way as you go all the way around the bag. So the 9, 5, 9, 5, 9, 5, 9, 5, the whole way around the bag until you get to the other end. And then we'll join and chain, and then we'll repeat it again for our 3B row. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I just have my last stitch of white to work up here, but I left that one so I could show you the color change from our white to our blue. So I'm going to work that last single crochet all the way up until the last yarn over. And I'm going to be dropping my white yarn here and picking up my blue yarn and finishing off the single crochet in the blue. And then I'm just going to leave my white yarn attached there, and I'm going to use my blue to join to the first single crochet of the round. Pull it nice and tight. And then I'm going to chain one, and I'm also going to pull that nice and tight. And when you pull your slip stitch and your chain one after nice and tight, your seam on your bag won't be quite as noticeable and it won't travel as much. So now I'm going to start with my 2 single crochet of blue. So 1, 2, and then I need to skip that next stitch there. So I'm going to chain 2, skip the next stitch, and then I'm going to work 9 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then again I'll skip that next stitch, so I'm chaining 2, skip that stitch, and then I'll work the next 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again skip the next stitch, chain 2, and now I'm working the 9 stitches here. So we're just going to repeat like that all the way around the bag. I'll just show you this section here, and then you'll probably have the hang of this row, and then I'll show you the next one. Just one more. So there's my 9 stitches there. So that's how this round is starting to work so far. So I have my 2 single crochet at the beginning, chain 2 to skip that one, 9 single crochet, chain 2, 5 single crochet, chain 2, 9 single crochet, chain 2, and then 3 single crochet plus another 2, and then chain 2 again all the way around the bag to the other side. So I'm going to continue working this bag off camera here, and then I will show you how the next round works. Okay, so I'm here at the other side of the bag, all the way over at the end. I just have a few stitches left here. So I just finished my last group of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more stitch for my 9. And then I'm just right here at the very end here, I just have a chain 2 and then my last 3 single crochet of the round here. So I'm just going to chain 2, skip that stitch, and my last 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and that matches up with where I started the round. So again, I'm going to join to the first stitch of the round with a slip stitch, chain 1, pull that nice and tight, and then I'm going to be ready to start the next round here. So for this next round, we're going to be working exactly the same way. We just did 3A, and now we're going to work 3B, which is still using my blue yarn, and again I'm going to be working just exactly the same as I did the first row here. So I'm going to start again with my 2 single crochet in blue, and then everywhere your chains are, that's just where I'm going to chain again, and then my single crochet stitches are going to match up in the same spots as my single crochet stitches from the previous row. And then we're just going to continue like that all the way around, just matching up our stitches. And then once we get to the next row, that's going to be where we have those stitches that are marked with an X, and those are going to be our mosaic double crochet stitches, which give that mosaic overlay sort of texture and look. And I'll show you how to work those once we get there and we work our next row using the white yarn. So you can see our stitches are just laying right on top of each other here. we have our 2 rows of chains on top of each other and our single crochet stitches lined up right, just stacked right on top of each other here too. So I'll continue that around and then I'll show you the next row when we get there. Okay, so here we are over at the other end of the bag here. So you can see my second row of blue here and all of my stitches lined up with each other. So I'm just going to work my last single crochet in blue to work my color change. So I'm going to complete the first half of my single crochet, drop my blue yarn, pick up the white, finish the single crochet, and then join with a slip stitch, pulling that tight, and chain 1, also pulling that tight. All right, so I'm just going to leave this for 1 sec and show you the graph again. So now we're going to be working on row 4, and we'll start with 4A and then 4B. And you'll notice here that in this row, we start having some of these stitches that are marked with an X. And those are the mosaic double crochet stitches that are going to come down over top of these chain stitches that we made here. So we're going to start off with looking at the start of the row. The first box is white, so we know we're working with the white yarn for the next 2 rows, 4A and 4B. And each white box is going to be a single crochet, except for the ones marked with an X. That'll be a mosaic double crochet, which is a double crochet worked 2 rows down. And then when we hit any of the boxes that are gray, we're going to be working chain stitches instead. So because we're working in white, any stitch that's not white is going to be a chain. So we're going to chain 2 here and then work our single crochet in white, chain 2, mosaic double crochet, and then 4 single crochet in white, mosaic double crochet, chain 2, just all the way across, all the way around the bag until we get to the other side. So let me show you what the start of that looks like. So we're going to start with our 2 single crochet in white. So 1, 2, and then our mosaic double crochet is going to be a double crochet worked pretty much the same as a regular double crochet. The only difference is that we're working it 2 rows down into this skipped stitch here, and we're working it over top of these chain stitches. So we're going to be yarning over in front of those chain stitches. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that skipped stitch, and then I'm just going to pass my hook in front of those chain stitches. So instead of going right through to the back of my project, I'm going through the stitch but coming back out in front of the chain stitches. And then I'll yarn over and pull up my loop here, and I'm going to complete the rest of my double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So there is my mosaic double crochet. And now I'm going to start with working my single crochet stitches again. Or sorry, I'm going to work my chain 2 to skip that next stitch, and then I'll work my 7 white single crochet stitches here. So I'm going to chain 2, skip the next single crochet stitch right here, and then I'll work my 7 white single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then again, I'm at another gray box, so I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm at a box with an X, so I'll do a mosaic double crochet, and then 4 or 5 white single crochet stitches. So chain 2, skip that next single crochet, and then we're going to mosaic double crochet into the skipped stitch here, yarning over in front of the chain stitches and completing my double crochet as normal. And then I'll work my 5 single crochet in white, and then again I'm at the chain stitches, so that's going to be another mosaic double crochet. And then the next stitch is gray, so I'll chain 2, and then I'll work those 7 white single crochet again. So skip the next stitch, and then 7 white single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to repeat that the full way around. So we'll do another chain 2, mosaic double crochet, 3 white single crochet, followed by 2 more white single crochet, and then mosaic double crochet all the way around the bag here. So here's what the start of that round is looking like. So we have our mosaic double crochet stitches that are coming down in front of the chain stitches, and then we're also working chain stitches here, and that's where the mosaic double crochet stitches in the blue are going to come down in between again once we get to the 2 rounds up here. So I'm going to continue working this round around the bag, and then I'll show you how the next round goes. Okay, so here is what row 4A looks like, all completed here. So I have all of my groups of 7 and 5 single crochet stitches with my chains and my mosaic double crochet stitches. And I'm just all the way over at the end of the bag here, or the end of the round. And I'm going to be continuing in this white color for 2 rounds. So I'm not going to be working a color change here, but I've just worked my last mosaic double crochet stitch of the round. So just right here. And I just have my 3 last single crochet to do. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to join, pull that nice and tight, chain 1. There we go, pull that nice and tight too. As you can see, my seam is not very noticeable here for my bag here. And then we're going to go to 4B here. And 4B is a lot, well, it's very similar to row 4A, except the mosaic double crochet stitches are only worked in the 4A over top of those chains there. So now we're just going to be working single crochet stitches in all of the white boxes, including the ones with an X. And then we'll work a chain 2 every time we get to one of those gray boxes all the way across. So we'll start with 3 white single crochet, chain 2, 7 white single crochet, chain 2, 7 white single crochet, chain 2, all the way across, or all the way around the bag here. Okay, so we'll start with our 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, and then 3 is going to be worked right in the top of that mosaic double crochet. And then wherever we get to the chains, we're just going to chain again. And there we go. So we're just going to follow that the whole way around the bag. And this row is a little bit easier because you can just follow the stitches of the previous row. You don't have to count the stitches as you do at the start of each of the A rows. The B rows are pretty much just kind of copying the A row. And there we go. So we'll just continue the full way around just like that. And then the next row, we're going to be switching back to our blue, and then we'll have a combination of chain stitches and mosaic double crochet stitches. So I'll show you that. And then after that, you should be able to work up the rest of the mosaic crochet design for this bag body. Okay, so here I am back around at the end of the row, and I'm just going to do my last single crochet stitch in the white for my last one here, and then we're going to move up to the next row in the blue. So I'm just going to work my color change. There we go, and a nice tight chain 1. And then for this next row here, we're going to be working row 5A. So again, there's the stitches with the X, so we have some mosaic double crochet stitches here, as well as some white boxes, so we're going to be doing some chain stitches as well. So we know that these next 2 rows are going to be done in the blue, and every time we get to a white box, that's going to represent a chain, and every time we get to an X, that's going to represent a mosaic double crochet. So we'll start off with 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then mosaic double crochet, chain 2, 5 single crochet, chain 2, mosaic double crochet, 7 single crochet, mosaic double crochet, all the way across. It's always handy to keep your chart in front of you as you go so you can kind of keep track of your progress and the number of stitches of each color. So we'll start with those 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3. And then the mosaic double crochet, worked 2 rows down into the skipped single crochet stitch. Make sure you're working into the single crochet stitch and not into the chain stitch. And then pass out in front of your chains. There's our double crochet. And then after that, we're going to work chain 2 and then 5 single crochet. So chain 2, and then skip that next stitch, and then 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then after that 5 single crochet, there's another white box, so chain 2, mosaic double crochet, and then after that we have our 7 single crochet stitches followed by another mosaic double crochet and a chain 2. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then mosaic double crochet, chain 2, skip the next stitch there, and then we have our 5 single crochet. And there we go. So we'll just repeat like that the whole way around. And as you go, you'll start to see the design start to form. So this row will be completed as we just were all the way around. And now when you get to your next row for 5B, that's going to be pretty much the same as 5A, just working single crochet stitches in all the stitches, and including in each of the mosaic double crochet stitches. And then you're just going to chain where the chain stitches are. And then when you get to row 6, again, you'll just keep following it using the white when you get to row 6 here, and you'll work those single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a mosaic double crochet, and then chain 2 for the gray box, 3 single crochet, so all the way across, just like that. And then you get to do 6B, the same. So we're just going to continue in the same fashion that we've been working the first few rows all the way up to the top of the bag here. And then once we get finished row 18, you will have, or when we get to row 18, 18A, you will have some mosaic double crochet stitches, but there won't be any chains in that row because you can see it's all just white. So 18B will just be single crochet, and then 19 will just be single crochet, finishing everything off. So I'm going to continue working up the rounds of this bag, and I'll meet you at the top and show you what it all looked like. Okay, so I've now finished working up the rest of this bag body here. So I followed the rest of the graph here, and here is how my mosaic crochet bag section turned out here. So as you can see, about halfway through, I decided to change my accent color from the bluey teal color to kind of a pinky red color. So I did the 5 rows of the blue accent color here, and then I did 5 rows of this red, pinky red accent color on top here. So I just kind of changed that halfway up, so you can work the whole thing in just the 2 colors, or you can add in another color as well, or you could even do it in a few different colors if you wanted as well. It's up to you. I really like how this mosaic crochet pattern turned out here. And as you can see on the inside of the bag, if you're curious on how it looks, you can see all of the chains that we made for the mosaic double crochet to overlay in front. It just looks like kind of stripes on the inside. And then you can see on the side, it's not very noticeable where I pulled up my yarn in each row either. So that's just going to stay on the inside of the bag. And next I'm going to go on to working up the handles or the straps for this bag. So I'm going to do a separate video tutorial to show you how to work up tote bag handles. And I do have another video tutorial on my YouTube channel as well on how to work up tote bag bases in this style here. So I hope you found this video tutorial helpful. I hope you enjoy making this mosaic crochet bag here. And you can find the free pattern on my blog, loopsandlovecrochet.com. And I'd love it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel and followed Loops and Love Crochet on Facebook and on Instagram. Thanks for watching.